Well, good morning, folks. Ken Ring of www.predictweather.com. It's the 5th of July. The moon's in the sky till about 7 o'clock in the morning, this morning, when it starts to get lower, and then it'll disappear setting round about lunchtime. It'll be in the middle of the sky around about 6 a.m., which is probably too early for a lot of people. But if you're up overnight, and if you're watching this in the early hours of the morning, you'll see a big bright star above the moon, and it's pretty bright. It's actually over there, just to the left of the moon, if you're in the southern hemisphere, and it moves to the left of the moon before the sun's glare swallows them both up around about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, that big bright thing is Jupiter. And I know a lot of people like to see Jupiter in the sky there. So Jupiter is one of the biggest planets, of course, in our solar system compared to the Sun. If the Sun was the size of a medicine ball, then Jupiter would be the size of a grapefruit, and the Earth would just be the size of a little wee peppercorn. So Jupiter is called one of the gas giants, along with Saturn, and it's pretty big, and it's actually responsible for causing the tides on the sun of extra solar radiation, which come flooding over Earth, sometimes knock out electrical generators, but it contributes to the sunspot cycle. Anyway, that's what's in the sky. If you're wondering what the big bright thing is, just above and to the left of the moon, it's Jupiter. There's about another day of unsettled weather in the top of New Zealand. As we said yesterday, things are quietening down, tides are lessening, energies are downwards. But, in nature, there's a law that says before something finally stops for a while, it increases in intensity to its highest levels. And I would say, if you find that there's extreme weather going on in your region, wherever you are in the world, it's usually a sure sign that it's about to stop. Compare that to mildly unsettled weather, which can, drag on and on and on. Just a word about the oil spillage in the Gulf of Mexico. While it is, I know, an unfortunate thing, especially for bird life in the area, I think we should get a sense of perspective here. Don't get hung up just on the birds that are being killed. I mean, terrible as it is. But every month it is estimated that between 5,000 and 6,000 birds get killed in wind turbines. And every month between 2 million and 7 million birds get killed by cars and trucks in the world. And every month it's been estimated that between 8 and 80 million birds are killed by windows. You don't hear any media alarm about all that. So how many birds so far have been collected in the Gulf as oil spill casualties? Well, the figure is 359. Now, I'm not an oil company apologist, believe me. I believe the oil companies are ripping us all off blind, but I do like to see some balanced reporting. Notice too that the Icelandic volcano aphelion is no longer in the news at all, which means it was a non-disaster environmentally. And as soon as the media realised that the public are getting a wee bit sick of reading about oil, I think that story will fade away as well. So although these things are terrible at the time, these catastrophes are natural, many of them, and they come and go, come and go. I think we can get a wee bit alarmed about all that. This week the sun is the furthest away from the earth. It's called the aphelion, and it always happens at the moment round this particular time in the first week of July, and New Zealand and Australia always get a cold blast from this phenomenon. And because the sun is the closest in the first week of January, the southern hemisphere half of the world always gets a slightly hotter summer than the northern hemisphere does, and a longer summer by about 10 days. It's because the sun is closer to us then. However, in about 12,000 years' time, this situation reverses, and New Zealand and Australia will get their summer at the aphelion time, which will be still the same time of the year in terms of January and February, but the sun will be the furthest away then. That's in 12,000 years' time, and it'll be the turn of the UK and the USA to have a much hotter July, and the hemisphere getting the longer summer, which means the UK will probably have a wine industry and New Zealand won't. That's in about 12,000 years' time. So that's true climate change, and it's all because of the wobble of the poles over 26,000 years, which was the old Mayan calendar. And it means that every 72 years, the sun moves a day closer or further away, depending on which hemisphere you're in. And over time, that all adds up. Thanks for watching. Hope I'll see you tomorrow.